Hey guys, I just wanted to drop in a little educational video real quick. Probably the most important thing that we're going to talk about throughout this entire challenge is going to be protein. And I kind of mentioned it in our little introductory video, but protein is the single most important macronutrient that you can put in your body to help yourself lose weight. And there's a lot of reasons. When I first started working out, I started taking protein. Basically just because that's what everyone told me to do. I didn't know what the heck I was doing with it. It's not just bro science stuff. There's actually a lot of good science behind protein and why you should make it a primary source of fuel for your body. It's the single most important macronutrient. Macronutrients are your proteins, carbs, and fats. They're your three fuel sources that your body will use. Even people that are vegetarians and vegans, they still, when they're trying to lose weight and whatnot, they still have to make protein a priority. They can't live just off carbs and whatnot that come from their plant. They find plant-based proteins to help fuel the body and keep it in an anabolic state. What protein does, there's three main reasons that I'm going to kind of point out to you guys that make protein important. The first one is it helps put your body in an anabolic state. When your body is in an anabolic state, you are building muscle and you are burning fat. That's the very simple way to put it. Basically, it's like putting shrink wrap on your muscles. You're protecting the muscles, you're building the muscles, and you are burning the fat away from over them. When your body is in a catabolic state, it is using your muscles as the fuel. You want to build the muscles and use the fat as fuel. The second thing, protein also creates the most thermogenic reaction of any macronutrient fuel that you can use for your body, meaning that you're going to burn more calories by burning your protein or by using protein as a fuel source than using carbs and fats. Third thing, protein is made of amino acids, or amino acids make up protein, which are the building blocks of your muscles. So obviously we want to build those muscles up. Not saying you got to be big and bulky and super muscular like She-Hulk or nothing, but you want to get more muscle because more muscle means more calories burned. The more muscle you have, the more calories it's going to take for your body to contract that muscle when you're trying to move. Okay, it's important to find good, complete protein sources. So a couple of good protein sources that we can find here locally pretty easy. Chicken, you can usually find that, we figured about $2.79 a pound. Sometimes it's on sale, sometimes it's a little bit more. But usually we find it for about $2.79 a pound. Chicken's always going to be my number one suggestion for you. Turkey's usually right around $3 a pound. Beef, you can find 85-15 for pretty cheap, but I would avoid that if I was you, just because of the fat ratio that's in it, the 85 to 15% fat ratio. We usually go for 93.7, which is about as lean as you can get it anymore at the store on average, and that's usually right around $4.29 a pound. Fish, usually tilapia is kind of what we go with, and that's right around $4 a pound. And then protein powders. In particular, whey protein. I try to avoid casein protein anymore. I used to fall under the myth that casein protein was good overnight. I disagree with that now. There's a lot of reasons. So stick with whey protein. It is the most complete type of protein powder you will find. Obviously, I'm going to suggest First Form because it is a very high quality protein. It is not going to be high temperature processed. It's very low temperature processed, so it's not all denatured and beat up and everything. So it's not going to mess with your stomach quite as much. It tastes good, and I think it works. That's going to run you about $49.99 for a tub of 30 scoops, which comes out to about $1.67 a scoop. For whey protein isolate, which I highly suggest after your workouts, because that will help get into your muscles faster and isolate. Is First Forms, for example, is basically considered pre-digested. It's hydrolyzed, pre-digested, so it gets into your muscles a little bit quicker. That's going to run you $54.99 a tub of 32 scoops, which breaks down to about $1.72 a scoop. So it's it can kind of seem like a lot up front, but honestly, it's on the cheap end as far as protein sources go when you compare it to how much chicken and turkey and whatnot can be too. One last thing, I would be very careful of protein bars and anything that you can buy at like the gas station that is loaded with protein. I personally eat them. That's fine, but you got to be very careful about them. A lot of them can be sugar bombs, carb bombs, fat bombs. You got to look at the label on them. They're not always worth the small amount of protein that you get in them. There's some that say that they're a protein bar, and you'll look at them and they'll have 9 grams of protein and 30-something grams of carbs and 20-something grams of fat. That's not exactly going to be beneficial towards your weight loss macros. For your muscle build ones, maybe, but still not getting very much protein out of it. And then because of the fact that they are processed and cooked and whatnot, the protein, they literally have protein powder in them that's been cooked, processed, and everything. It's going to be denatured, which again comes back to upsetting stomachs. If you're somebody that your stomach doesn't really handle protein powders very well, it's because of the denaturing. Your stomach does not like the denaturing of it, and it's trying to figure out how to process all that. So if you get a good clean protein, then it's not going to upset your stomach quite as much, or at all if it's a good protein, and then you won't have to worry about that. So that's a quick synopsis on protein. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but make sure you're getting your protein in. When we go over everyone's meal plans and whatnot, I'm probably always going to suggest that you get a little bit more protein in than what you get. I guarantee that'll be the first thing I say to a lot of you guys when you ask. So be prepared for that. But quick synopsis on protein. That is your first educational video for this challenge, and we'll see you next time.